Let me turn
Okay.
you up a little bit. Now say some other stuff now. Be funny on the spot.
Yep. It's kind of hard when you put under pressure like that, but I'll give you my best go.
All right.
Um, yeah, I was just looking around the map then to try and find, a couple of the other whales to burn. I'll find them. Well, not burned, burn my troops off, but I'll find them.
All right. Well, let's get started here. Folks, thanks for joining. We've got a bit of a crazy story to hear in a new format I'm trying out, a bit more podcast style. I'm here with Hugh, who is a whale from Kingdom 915 and is in the process of blowing up his account in order to beat the transfer requirement to go to Kingdom 902. He actually has two VIP 12 accounts, and we're going to follow along in this multi-part mini-series as he destroys his account power, transfers kingdoms, and rebuilds to a position of strength in 902. So, accordingly, we'll be talking about how Hugh plans to blend various strategies together from across all of my guides, as well as how he's planning on rebuilding and thinks about getting the most value from packs. There'll also be a lot of laughs along the way. In this episode, we'll be discussing a lot of thinking around preparing for such a complex kingdom transfer and true account strength versus power rating. Now, interestingly, Hugh is also the High King and transfer manager on 915 with his other account. And Hugh, you said you got the idea from one of my videos shared by another whale transferring to 915. I think you said Kingdom.
871,
Yep.
and she's getting a special invite. She actually sent it to me first, and I was like, "Wait, I know this. Like, I've seen this name loads. Like, I know he's in the Discord with Birdie and all them guys. So, like, this is crazy. Like your work does get out a lot.
Oh,
And
good.
people are obviously massively anticipating some good fun. Like me and you having some back and forth comments and a good laugh together. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, no, I am too. This will also be the first recording I've done with another person's audio coming through. So,
Yeah.
separate from me figuring out all the tech that we just went through here, I think it's also much more fun because one of the challenges recording on this game is there's a lot of stuff that's simulated and abstracted, and you're looking at the same screen for a period of
Yeah.
time. And actually, just having like another person to bounce things back and forth with, I think it changes the entire dynamic.
Yeah, that's it. And podcasts these days are so popular. Like everybody listens to a podcast. I don't know a
Yeah.
single person that doesn't. Do you know what I mean? It's like that's the kind of thing that's going to entice people to think, oh my god, yeah, there's a video coming out on Thursday. Like I better tune in and watch that. It's good fun. Because the
Yeah.
game is so boring. Do you know what I mean?
It
It's
almost
literally the people that we log in for.
well, it almost makes me think of, everyone's always complaining about false advertising in the space, which I'm certainly not a fan of either, but it you sort of understand when you have to record videos over a period of a time and you're like, what is a interesting or compelling thing that I can show on this screen? But there's very few like
Yep.
action-packed things, right? The game's
Yeah,
very
there's not
cerebral.
very
It's
much that's engaging, is there? Like everything's just kind of boring.
Well, I think I would say more cerebral than boring. I mean, it's a lot of tinkering and adjusting and like planning out stuff, which can be fun in its own way for a certain archetype of
Yeah,
player.
there's audience groups that that really will pertain to. For someone like me, I downloaded a war game. Like I just want to have some fun. Do you know what I mean? Like my
Yeah.
old war game I played beforehand was the Grand Mafia, and I think I spent about 100,000 on that over the
Oh
course
wow.
of 5 years. So like I really enjoyed that game. And
It
when I
sounds
moved
like
to
it.
America, it was like, okay, I'm gonna give my accounts away to they call them factions, but it's an alliance. I was like, I'm gonna give my account to the alliance. Everyone can share the logins and have fun with it and do whatever they want. And then I'll start again on a different game somewhere, and I just ended up landing on Kingshot, which was kind of lucky.
And what actually brought you to Kingshot?
A false advertisement.
Same.
Pretty much the same as everyone else. I wasn't looking to actually join another pay to win game at the time. I was just bored and wanted a game that I could just, like brain rot, sit there and do while my missus is watching Bridgerton or some shit like that. So I was like, This one looks all right. It keeps popping up on everything that I see, so I might as well download it. I think within about 2 months, I had two VIP12 accounts, and I was like, yeah, this might be an addiction. Yeah. So what do you want from me first? Then you want me to go kill some troops, leave my alliance, and just burn the guy that's next to me?
Well, so before we get into that, maybe we should talk a little bit first around what the grand plan is, right? Because if we're doing this across a few different episodes,
Yeah.
let's set up the synopsis here.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good idea.
And
So
I can always edit in between gaps and parts here too. I
yeah,
still haven't
of
even done my
course.
intro, which I should probably do at some point.
Yeah. Give yourself
But
some pump, like and share and follow and subscribe and all the rest of it.
oh no,
Oh,
I'm not even talking about that. I'm just like, you're a new viewer to the channel. You come in, you start hearing this. You're like, what is this I'm listening to?
what on
What is the
earth's going
point of
on?
this
Who's this?
video?
Who's this random English geezer?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, so if we sort of say, transfers arrived for the group that I'm in, and my objective is to move to 902, which is where, my other account is and all my mates are, and not use a special invite, even though I'm, the best part of 260 million.
Yeah.
How can I do it? What options have I got? What can I do? How's it going to work? What kind of steps do I need to take, knowing that I'm not going to use a special invite?
Yeah, exactly. And I think be
Hmm.
good if you could share with me the longer term plan that you have around this transfer and then what you're planning on even eventually doing in the next server and why you're doing this.
Yeah, like all the events and the steps afterwards, and what impacts it's going to have on things like bear hunt, which is regular every 2 days. And then other events that we get pop up like Eternity and Swordland and Tri Alliance, and how much impact it's going to have going from 1.8 million troops down to, I imagine, probably about 1 million troops, and how that's
Hopefully.
going to impact the game. For me, when I'm gonna be buying the packs, will be probably during the Alliance Brawl, because it gives points for every gem. Topped up, you get 6 points. So in order to get those points, you got to spend a lot of money or spend a lot of gems. If you want to win
Yep.
the the stuff for your island, which all contributes massively towards stats, which they're super important for every battle that you go into. Um,
Yeah, certainly.
so once I spend the money on Alliance Brawl, the intention then will just be to save, as much as possible for
But
other events that are coming
go
up.
back to those general speed ups. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
hang on.
168 days of general speed ups.
I
Oh
had
my
a, I,
goodness.
I had over 100 days of research, and I had around, I don't know, maybe 400 days of general before. But obviously, we've just had, the Kingdom versus Kingdom battle, so I used an awful lot of speed ups just to try and push a little bit more on tech, which is almost maxed out now. I mean, my tech power is almost 7 million, and I haven't got that much left to do. That's not going to take a while. So
Yeah. And you know what? That's actually a really good point too if you're talking about the tech tree because
yeah,
you have it like you're saying it's almost maxed here. Yeah, you're
yeah,
pretty deep
these
in
are
it.
all I can do.
And even all of that together is only 6 million power. So I guess this would mean if someone who's watching this is thinking of doing something like this and you still want to contribute in the KVK before you transfer and you're just sitting on I guess a few hundred
Yeah,
days of speed ups randomly. Tech is
exactly
probably one of the
that.
safer ones to do it. Although War Academy, I know those have some
Oh yeah, of
higher
course. Yeah, they give a
power
lot more
values with
power.
them. Yeah, but the
Yeah,
original tech
but
tree really doesn't.
yeah, for this one, like the lethality of the infantry, it only gives 12,600 power, but it takes 20 days of speed up. So if you want to earn the points, that's a really good method for you. And the other one would be the beast cage. So, if you're like me and you've got an abundance of gems, I mean, I have gems in my backpack too. Um, and you go to the beast cage, you can actually boost all of the stats on your pets using
Yep.
gems. Like I have quite a few in the gold now, but for me, I didn't want to do too many and need 50 passes, so I was kind of limiting, where I kind of ranked on each day based off,
Yeah.
the assumption that I was going to have to maybe spend, an extra $300-400 on transfer tickets.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, all of my pets are maxed out from this level. There's nothing left to ascend on them. They're all level 80, and the new ones just came out today. So
Holding off
again,
on
I'm
them.
waiting for after transfer, and if it falls in the strongest governor as a day, I'll probably just unlock this and get it to. I think it's level 30 that I've got to push it to, um,
Yep.
and then I can get
Get
the
the next
last
one.
remaining pet, and start working them to get them maxed out as well.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
they give huge stats. That's 21% squad attack, and that covers all your troops. And if you're attacking, it does really help. Having these kind of stats.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. And
like
for some of the newer ones too, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head the various generations, but for some of those where they have the pet abilities for combat that start coming in, yeah,
yeah.
those
So
that
this
squad attack
wild
there, that
charge.
2.5%, that's a multiplicative 2.5%.
Yeah. So each time it will go up as well. Eventually, it will become
Yeah.
10% when I get it to level 10. And I'll probably do that quite fast
Yep.
because it's an
It's worth
important
it.
one to get.
Yeah, if
But I
you're if
mean,
you're gonna be leading rallies, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Everything on that front's as much as it can be right now, and it's just a case of showing some patience to not,
Yeah.
to not use everything the second I get there and become what I am now, which is obviously one of the highest in the server. I mean, I killed a lot of troops off, but you can see there, there's not too much ahead of me, and these guys I've all beaten in previous rallies, and defended off them all. I mean, this was a defense off Dave without, without the Generation 3 heroes. This was just using Gen 2 and Saul from Gen 1. Even though I was still able to defend off him quite comfortably,
Yeah.
in the end. And attacking wise, I kind of beat most of these guys without, needing to buff up or
Yep.
anything like that. It's been quite good. The competition between us all's kind of gone up, and it helps because they
Yeah.
know where I'm at, they know what I'm doing, and they know, my overall intentions for this is to become probably a rally leader in one of the most competitive servers, in 902. I mean, we call
Yeah.
it the Dragon's Den, and it's because we have so many players that bought the most or the second to most recent Dragon turf skin. I think out of the 10 that get it permanently, 9 of them were from my alliance. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have a good run.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If you kind of look around here, there you go. The dragons are sort of all floating around, and
Yeah.
it's only going to become more dragons. We kind of like that
Yeah,
skin.
I
It was
saw
an
that.
attractive one.
I know it was really nice. I saw that on, the KVK live stream I did. I'm used to seeing all the comets flying around in the void skins, and I was seeing all of the dragons flying around all of a sudden. Dragons and
Yeah, that's
fireworks,
it.
it made it look way more way more exciting. It looked like things were exploding on the screen.
Yeah, I think so too. So, I mean, there's a couple of people that do have the void skin already, um, but they choose to stick with the dragon skin just because it's more of an attractive look. We all
Yeah.
just prefer it.
That's how you know as the animator or the model designer that you've done a solid job in this game. If people are choosing your skin
Yeah,
over the void skin to rep.
absolutely. They absolutely nailed it. That skin really does go hard. If you look at it on the town view that you get here, I mean, it's one of the most fascinating things to watch. Just if you're
Yeah.
bored.
Well, I don't know. Most fascinating might be getting into a fight with an animatronic bear, but this is certainly one of the
Yeah,
most visually appealing.
yeah, I think so too. But I mean, for me, I've always been a skin collector because those extra stats that you get from them
Yeah.
is, it's kind of invaluable to your account.
Well, if you're competing at the top level, it's a,
Exactly,
one-off chance to get something you'll never otherwise get to be able to use.
No, exactly. And I mean, I have all of these permanent as well. It's just I choose not to use them. I mean, that's from the fishing event. I choose not to use them unless it's
Unless it's
kind of
go
going to
time.
benefit me.
Yeah.
I'll
I'm the same way.
typically unlock most of the solo hunting march speeds, except the fishing one. Um, for the day-to-day stuff, the frames and things like that. I mean, most of these don't give any stats, but the ones that do, I'll
Yep.
unlock them pretty much straight away. But I always save the attack ones and use the 3 day, then the 14 day, then the 30 day, just to empty my backpack because it drives me insane.
Yeah. And at this point in the conversation, I'd like to give a special thank you to my Sloth Squad channel members whose continued support helps make videos like this possible. And also thanks to the Play Smarter community who've made a way for serious spenders to save money on packs and support my channel by leveraging your in-game spend when you check out with creator code SLOTH. If you want a trustworthy, concierge-like approach to buying packs at a discount that follows you from game to game and treats you like a VIP, then check out the link below in the description for details. This is also one of the things that I've noticed, a little bit of an aside here, but
Hmm.
whenever we've had any of these recent events since the start of the new year that have had either particularly the island items, you've
Yeah,
probably seen a couple of those where
yeah. So I
those
was,
I think those are actually a really good value because people look at it and like, "Oh, it's only a couple percent," but, it's not that you're getting with the event currency. Particularly if you're a
yep,
free-to-play player, you have the potential to eventually upgrade this thing fully. Once you run out of other things to build on your island with the normal water essence, you can go to the store and buy the shards that you'll need.
exactly.
So I always, for anyone who's free to play on those events, I said just buy one copy and only one copy of the island thing. And at some point, you'll just have this excess resource with nothing else to do that'll bump it up and it'll be adding stats to your account. And yes,
Yeah,
maybe it's going to cost you, 500 event tokens or whatever. And you could get a couple dozen forge hammers for that. But that couple dozen forge hammers might not get you as many stats late on in the game as this simple
no,
island thing will allow
exactly.
you to have. So I actually think it's really much better value, and it tends to not be like whenever I see any of these charts going around, whenever a new event comes out and someone says, this is the best per gem expenditure. They're always based on like this one here, that 1% defense. I'm like,
Yeah,
well, it's not just
that I
1%
was trying
defense
to
you're
find
getting.
it for you.
You're getting the capacity to get up to 10% defense with a resource that will eventually become useless to you, and now you're giving it a use.
Exactly. And if you look on, I can't remember where it is. But if you look at what it gives you overall when it is maxed out, I can't find it. I was trying to click it as you were saying it, but can't find where it'll show it. But like these stats only go up. So for Valentine's, I used all of the coins. That was the first thing I purchased. And then obviously I bought some mithril because that
Because it's
thing just
mithril.
costs so much money.
Yeah.
Like upgrading hero gear is super expensive.
Yeah.
Um,
But I think these
and
island things, like that's another good one too, because if you notice, anything you put on the island doesn't actually add to your governor power rating.
no, it doesn't. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was extremely lazy with the island just because I had two Vit 12 accounts that I was running from day one of me downloading the game. Well, they weren't both Vit 12 at the time, but I
Yeah,
had two accounts that I was spending money on. So the island on this one kind of got neglected a little bit. But I always bought whatever I could buy, and fought for whatever I could fight for to make sure that, I was always getting the best stats because I wasn't sure which account I was going to really go full focus on.
yeah.
I obviously went for this one
But the
instead.
reason I say this is because it's really helpful if you think about it from this kingdom transfer journey you're about to go on, all of those stats and all the investment that you put from an island standpoint, none of that's hurting you in this in the same way that, the other power you have to slim down from. This is just all essentially free strength that does not impact your power
Yeah,
rating.
this is one of the very rare occasions where you'll get free stats, and it's exactly the same for the skins, and the frames and
Yep.
things like that. Like anything that's free that's not going to contribute towards this power or, is hugely beneficial because this is the power that matters
Yes.
when it comes to moving. Like if you're unhappy where you are and you want to leave, or you've got friends that play elsewhere and you want to be with them, this is the only thing that really matters is, the power that you're holding and,
Yeah.
the power that you need to be at in order to get to where you want to go. So for me, it's like I'm headed to 902, so I have to be below 170 million.
Yep. We got a little bit
How
of
can
work
I
cut out.
how can I still gain
Yeah.
progression with the account without, neglecting everything and, you know, or making my life more difficult, if I have to kill a million troops now because of this, imagine if the island stuff gave me power and I had an extra, 50 million power, it would just be more troops sent out to the dead. So, we're quite fortunate in that aspect that they're not giving anything
Yep.
remarkable for it.
And I think going back to
Um,
the earlier conversation we had then as well, other things that you were able to invest in on this last KVK cycle that didn't hurt you, hero gear would actually be another one of those because you can simply unequip it and that power drops back down. And that was one I
yeah, so
actually
the
showed in
hero
my
gear,
video as a test that you
yeah,
can actually take it off.
yeah. So the hero gear for me, was a pretty big thing that I was just being lazy with because, I've got so much XP and I've got so much mithril and I've got so many hammers. But what I was lacking a lot of was, the gold gear in order to make the upgrades. So, if I go to my Amadeus and I go to the gear and I want to, imbue this, it's going to cost me 8 golden or 5 golden pieces just to imbue it.
Yeah.
But if I go to, Master Forgery, it's going to cost me 8. So in total, to take that up, you know, an extra level in the Master Forgery and an extra level in the Imbue, it's going to cost, 5 pieces for one and 8 pieces for the other. That's 12 in total. And, they're rare to get. You can open as many of the chests as you want from your backpack. They're always going to be extremely rare. I just sit on them for a while. I've got 449 right now, but you pick them up pretty easily just doing the tasks. So if you go on your Mystic Trial and you're able to complete a few more levels, I don't really mess with these too much. I'll just set it to 50, 20, 30 and see if it wins. But this is
Actually,
where you
you can
roughly.
push further ahead on these if you take a different
Oh
approach with
yeah,
that.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now, for this one in particular, I'm ranked number 6. But if I go to the overall leaderboard, I think I'm third or fourth. Oh, down to fifth right now. Dave overtook me again. Um, but it's not really something that I've paid too much attention to overall. I've been kind of lazy with it. I just do the quick select and let it fly. If it wins, it wins. If it loses, it loses. I'm not bothered either way.
All right. Well, it's a bit beyond the scope of this video, but
Yeah.
at some point, I'll let you know how you can advance a little bit further for the same amount of input strength that you have.
Yeah, that would be perfect. I mean, I've still got some heroes that are level 1. I did reset a few yesterday. I can reset all of them again now. Um, but I think some of my heroes are still level 1. I was just
Yeah,
lazy and didn't bring them back up yet.
yeah, which is
Yeah,
which is
there you
fine. I mean,
go.
for the purpose of what we're doing, like obviously
It's
we're
helpful.
already doing some other stuff with your account anyway, but in the
Yeah.
future, particularly once you've sort of landed in on the new kingdom and you're getting yourself up and running again, we can definitely push some other levels on that. Maybe we can talk through that on one of the later episodes we do.
Oh yeah, for sure. If people are going to benefit from it and they're going to get, ultimately what you want to try and reach is these kind of milestones at the bottom.
Yep.
So if I can push mine an extra, I think it's 100 levels or whatever, I'll end up getting another 100
That'll help you get that
Chests are
gold gear
open.
you need. Well, or you'll
Yeah,
open it and get all
exactly.
purple and blue.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm 100% for working on that. But for right now, I think the important thing for me is just to get where I want to be,
Yep.
um, down in 902. So I mean, if we look on the transfer event and we look at the conditions again, to move, it's saying that
70 million.
yeah, I have to drop just under 100 million to get there. I've got to drop 90 million basically. So
Yeah.
the best way to do that is like I did the other day, is just to go around and basically attack people for nothing. you know, it's like I might as well have some fun.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm more than happy to do that. I'll jump out of my alliance and give another little love tap to Name to Remember.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
Yeah,
do it. I
so
think we'll jump to that. For viewers, it's gonna be the next episode. For us, we're gonna jump to it right now.
yep.
But let's go start slimming down to get into your weight class.
Yeah, let's get skinny.
All right, folks. I hope you enjoyed our first episode. Be sure to tune into the next one where Hugh actually wipes out his troops by attacking his own kingdom. I'm planning on having a new one release each day this week as we lead up to KVK. So let me know what you think of the new format below in the comments, and be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay notified of the latest channel updates. Thanks again for watching, and happy gaming out there.